All right, here we go. Perfect timing, right when you're getting a drink of water.
That's all exactly. Gotta wet the spigot. Wet the spigot.
Dude, I have the most famous CrossFit page of all time on my podcast.
Yes, you do. Yes, I'm not even gonna fight you on that. I totally agree, 100%.
No, everybody passes around your memes, and this is what's
Yeah.
fascinating to me about it, is
Uh,
that you seem to have taken something and become a stand-up comic in a completely niche market, and that is
uh,
in the CrossFit functional fitness world, and made
uh,
it into a profession.
yeah, yeah, I try, man. I try. It's I love comedy, man. I love making jokes. I love trying to make people laugh. If you've been to follow me for even if it's a short amount of time, you can probably tell I don't take too much serious. So it's like I love laughing at myself. I love laughing at other people. So it all comes from love. But it's always fun to poke fun at the same time.
Yeah. So, have you always had this like? Have you been a stand-up comic before? Have you done comedy? Like, what got you into making this stuff?
No, none of that stuff. I think what kind of originated was just on Instagram and seeing other meme accounts. And I mean, I guess not to try to sound kind of like conceited a little bit, but sometimes I'd be like, man, some of these are like not that funny at all. Like, some of them are obviously freaking hilarious, but I'd say like, majority of them are like, I don't know. I don't think they're like very funny. So I'm like, I feel like I could do this. I feel like I could do something like this and at least take a crack at it. And I love CrossFit, and then just the idea of making a meme. So I was like, there wasn't when I first started doing it, there was maybe like two or three kind of CrossFit meme type accounts. And so I was like, okay, well, that's good. That's a good, the market's small, I guess, on that side of it. So I started kind of posting. I started off doing like workouts of the day just to kind of get, kind of, I guess, wet my beak a little bit just to try to get into the space of CrossFit stuff. And then that page, which is the Floppy Duck page, just evolved into making making memes, making comedy. So yeah, to answer your question, just seeing memes from other accounts and just thinking that I can do the same thing, maybe a little bit better.
And then, how long do you work? Because you can look at whatever you want, and like you said, those memes aren't funny. Like you see
Yeah.
a lot of things, and they're not funny. Like it's just
Uh-huh.
like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Um, So there is an art form and a craft to making this meme. People think it's like super duper easy. People think it'd
Hmm.
be, I dare somebody right now, just take a random picture and make a meme right
Yeah.
now and make it funny for the entire world and then put
Yeah.
it out there for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially when you start scrolling back a little bit, you could tell. I look at some of my memes like, wow, I can't believe I even got any followers back there. Like it definitely evolved, and you kind of like, it's weird. It's really hard to put your finger on it. I think the only thing that really explains it is just doing it, which that goes kind of hand in hand with a lot of things you do. But just the more you do it, you almost get like this feel, and it's like, I don't know, it just kind of gets instinctual of like, oh yeah, this with this, and this kind of makes sense. And there is a little bit of an art form, don't use too many words, don't be too on the button with your stuff, and make stuff that's relatable to the masses. Things like that. So yeah, you're right. There's a little bit of like a little bit of an art form to it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So, and do you ever really worry about like offending some of the big time people in all these like, you'll make, nobody's off limits with you.
Uh,
Like nobody's off limits. You could
yeah.
see Cole Sager running around. You'll just make a joke about Cole Sager.
Right.
Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
you ever worry about offending some of these people?
No, well, I shouldn't say, I should not zero, because I hope they don't get offended, because I'm just, like I said, it's just jokes. And I don't really think there's anybody. I mean, for the most part, there's really not too many like any CrossFitters that I dislike or anything. So I think it's even I just made one the other day about Ricky Garrard. I don't even dislike the guy. He's fine with me. I know he did what he did. Whatever he did was kind of like poo pooed on, but whatever. I'm like, I'll forgive anybody. Everybody has a second chance. I'm okay with him. But I still think he's like fair game to poke fun of. And so I try to find that perfect balance of not going over too far, but you want to flirt with that line a little bit, because the more you kind of get to that line, to me, I think it's funnier. So no, I think I'm pretty savvy when it comes to not being too inappropriate when it comes to like, poking fun at some of these games athletes. And I've never really heard anything back from anybody about, everyone seems to have a pretty good sense of humor. So yeah, no, I think it's okay, with the things I've been posting.
Well, I mean, I would hope so because, and Ricky, that was hilarious, by the way. I
Yeah.
saw it and I was like, what's he doing? And I was like, wipe, wipe, wipe. And then
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, this is hilarious that he did that. And you run to the toilet. So
Yeah.
I was like, if you do the things that he did,
Right.
you should
Right.
understand that
Yeah.
you are going
Yeah.
to get roasted.
Of course, yeah. But again, like I don't think he's a bad guy. Like I really don't. I think he's fine. Like I have no animosity or heart or ill will towards him. He's just another guy. But like he's just a popular figure in our sport. So they're like, there's not too many of those controversial kind of athletes. So you got to really kind of scope out for those little things to kind of poke fun at.
Is it at all like weird just putting these things out there every single day? Like you put it out there and maybe some people laugh, some people don't.
Yeah.
Like some
Yeah.
people criticize, some people get on you about it. Like
Uh,
is it tough to like write something and then put it out and hope that they laugh?
yeah, it's kind of I guess it kind of checks my ego a little bit, but it's one of those things where I know everything I do is not going to be super hilarious all the time. And so sometimes like you can kind of, it's funny too, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be funny. Screw it. I haven't put anything out in a while. Just throw it out there to see what happens. And sometimes it's like, oh, surprises me. Like people like, love it. And the other one's like, yeah, this is like not funny to me. Like, I'm like, yeah, that pretty much just went exactly how I thought it was going to go. But however, there's some too where like you make it and it's like, dude, like even before I post it, I already know it's gonna be like a home run. Like you can just kind of have a feeling sometimes.
That's because you
But
laugh at it.
yeah, yeah. Well, sometimes I'll sit John Woolley from Make Wads. Him and I every now and then we'll sometimes send stuff back and forth to one another, saying like, hey, I think I'm gonna post this, or hey, this is like what's gonna go next. And then like sometimes we feed off one another's posts. So if I get a good chuckle out of him, and I think it's funny, it's like, yeah, I think it's pretty. It's going to be a pretty successful one.
So what do you like? I don't know if you have a job outside this,
Uh,
if that's even something that's we can talk about. But like,
sure. Yeah, we can
did
talk about.
you do anything like in writing or any sort of that stuff before this?
Oh, before this, no. But my job is marketing. I do marketing for a company that works with like pharmaceutical companies and biotech companies, and so I do like all their social media marketing and email marketing, everything that comes along with marketing for the company. So yeah, the amount of time that I've spent like on Instagram and all the different social media platforms has definitely helped now carry over into like my career, which I'm starting to do now, and which is kind of like my everyday job where I make a living and stuff, making the dinero.
So you find that that helps with your creativity, being on it all the time and having to think of like ads for something that you don't necessarily like. That's not your passion. This is just like your job.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know if it's just through like osmosis or what, but yeah, just just like kind of turn into a robot. You just start absorbing so much stuff, like hour after hour, day after day, and so you kind of get a feel for ads and things like that, and what people are going to like, more like people's behavior. I have a pretty good understanding of how people's behavior is on these platforms, and so that has definitely helped as far as having a kind of success outside of like Fluffy Duck and things like that.
And I mean, did you find that like maybe I would think that doing the fluffy duck thing would also help you understand what the different clientele, like understanding people, but then different clientele that you can go back to your marketing job and be like, okay, I understand what people are going to laugh at. I
Yeah.
understand this demographic, what people
Hmm.
don't laugh at because they're chewing me out about this post that I
Right.
had.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it helps. All that stuff helps. And I think just like I said, and just experience on those platforms and spending time, like I said, it's just, it's kind of developed into like this kind of like a second nature of just, Yeah, I know the kind of words to use, the kind of verbiage, how things should be placed, where people's eyes are usually going to go on an image and things like that. And so so yeah, again, it all just yeah, it all kind of helps with the job I'm at.
Did you research all that, or is that just something that you've learned over experience?
I say a little bit of both. I definitely spent a good amount of time researching it. And some things, yeah, when you're in that process of researching it, you'll things like, yeah, okay, I kind of knew that, or that makes sense, kind of thing. But yeah, I say a little bit of both. But I think the experience has been way more beneficial than any kind of reading or research I've done on it.
Do you ever get burned out from this, like
I
from
do.
looking at the screen
I
and
do.
making stuff up?
I do very much so. And sometimes sometimes Mrs. Fluffy Duck, she's like, "Hey, you want to freaking get present in the room every now and then?" She's like, "You've been on your freaking phone for like hours," and I'm like, "Have I? Oh my god, I have. I've been on for like 3 hours, and I haven't like got up off the chair yet." So yeah, there's yeah, it's a weird like addictive compulsive thing because and it's genius, but especially like by Instagram, whatever the algorithm, because he's like, there's no end to the scroll. You just keep scrolling, and they just keep showing you stuff. Doesn't matter what it is. And so, yeah, I do get burnt out, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure how long you've been like following my page, but you can kind of see like the evolution of my page a little bit because I love making memes, but I think I've made like 3,000 of them. So I kind of like to do a little or experiment a little bit more, which I don't know. Like I said, you can kind of see it happening a little bit more on my page. I do like the thought of like making videos and stuff. That's like I would say that's probably what I'm most passionate about is like making little skits and stuff. I think that's like the most fun. And so yeah, so I do get burnt out a little bit, and there's been times where I'm just like, I'm just not even gonna post today. I'm not even worry about it. But there's like this compulsive thing, man, where it's just like, it's like I want to get like my followers up. I want to get my likes up. I want to get like keep creating content because well, do you know who Gary V is?
Oh
Gary
yeah.
Vaynerchuk. Okay, yeah. So I freaking love this dude. So if you know his stuff, he's always like, more content, more content. More. So he's always like in the back of my mind too on stuff where I'm like, maybe I should take a day off. And I was like, it's not. I mean, it doesn't take up too much effort to kind of like, create or it's fun to like make like a mediocre, maybe not the best type of meme, but just something to put out there, just to kind of, I don't know, suffice my want of putting stuff out every day. Um, and so, yeah, I feel like that was a long-winded answer to your question, but
That's the
yes,
best. That's the best for
back,
podcasts.
yeah, back to your answer. Yes, I do get burnt out on it sometimes. Correct, I do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, you said spending 3 hours, and I
Yeah,
noticed
yeah.
like with my podcast stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I never really had social media before this podcasting. Like it wasn't really a thing that I paid any attention to. And then I want to do the podcast, so I
Yeah.
started, and then I lose my phone. Like I put it.
Oh,
Somebody at the gym has the same exact bag as me, and I
oh yeah,
put
yeah.
that phone in their bag, right? And then
Uh-huh.
they took off, and they didn't see it because it's black and the black. Anyway, so
Yeah.
it's gone. My phone's gone for like 2 weeks,
Oh,
and I'm waiting
jeez.
for a replacement phone. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually totally fine without a phone. The
Yeah.
only thing I use that for is for this podcast. But
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
get on there and I do it, I can get lost looking for things, like looking for guests, looking for
Yeah.
things that
Hmm.
interest me,
Right,
looking for
right.
topics. Like
Hmm.
I can
Hmm.
get lost scrolling, like you said, just
Oh
going
man.
up and down, up and down.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's come to a point now where I almost enjoy like spending time like on these platforms. Like I love TikTok too. I love TikTok, although it's kind of dumb, but it's okay. I still love it. And I love Twitter too, and I love freaking Instagram. And so it comes to a point where I think I almost enjoy spending time on those than I used to be like watching TV shows or movies and things like that. If I had the option, I think I'd rather pick the spending time on social media as opposed to that stuff, but I try to find the balance there because, like I said, it's just like sometimes it's just too much. Like because there has been days where it's like 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes. Not consistently, but like off and on, like 6, 7, 8 hours a day, just scrolling through stuff, trying to find ideas and try to. I try to batch sometimes. I try to like batch up a bunch of posts so I have them kind of loaded, ready to go, kind of thing. So yeah, my mind's always kind of like working all the time. So I get kind of burnt out mentally sometimes because I'm trying to get creative on that side, and in my work I have to like get creative there the whole time. So I'm just like constantly just thinking the whole time, like thinking. So it's yeah, it gets kind of overwhelming at times for sure. So balance, man, I gotta try to find the balance, and I suck at it. I suck at trying to find the balance. I'm horrible at it, dude. Horrible.
Balance is tough when you
Oh
really
man.
like something.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when you really, really, and I have this problem a lot with the things I do. I just want to go do them all the time.
You're right.
Like,
Yep.
and when I'm not doing, I'm thinking about how I can finish what I'm doing now, so I
Mhm.
can get back to doing that.
Yeah, dude, right. 100%. 100%. Yep. That's me, dude. That's me in a nutshell for sure.
Well, that's what the beauty about the Fluffy Duck page is. Like, you're passionate about like comedy and making
Yeah.
this stuff, and the functional fitness thing. It like works right alongside with all the things that you like to do,
Yeah.
and so it's like, well, I could not post today, but I really want to post today.
Yep. So true, man. That's exactly what it is. And so I try to be mindful. And like I said, wife has to check me sometimes. She's like, you have a kid here that's like want your attention, or how about me? Can I get like a high five or like a hug every now and then? I'm like, yeah. After I pose this real quick, lady, hold your ass real fast. So yeah. So there's been days where, and she's pretty cool. Like I'd say 99% of the time she's pretty cool, but every now and then it's like, and I can't really like say anything back to her because I'm like, you're right. I've been on this damn phone for like 5 hours a day, so I need to get off of it.
Now, is she
Um,
into CrossFit the same as you, or
Not
the
even close. Nope. She is not a fan. She's tried it a couple times, and she's just like, it's not for me. I don't like all this jumping around and burpee and thrusters and over the box. Like she's not about that life. But she
so
is.
none of your jokes land on her then?
Oh no. No, that's funny you bring that up because that's another good gauge. So like I'll create something. I'm like, hey, you think this is funny? And 9 times out of 10, it's kind of like, I don't know, because she's so used to my crap all the time. I'm always being like dumb around the house. So every now and then I'll show her something and she'll be like, she's kind of got a little grin. She's like, that's pretty good. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be like a freaking huge home run right now. If you're getting a little smile off of this sucker. But she loves Orange Theory. She's all about Orange Theory. She loves that stuff.
Please tell me she laughed at the every woman's fitness video beginning thing.
Which one's that? I'm sorry.
You like, this is how every woman's fitness video starts and
Oh,
it counts down.
yeah, yeah, yes, she did. She did. She just said, she's like, people are gonna think you're freaking weird. I'm like, well, it's too late for that. That's already passed. Yeah, she got a chuckle out of it. Yeah, it's good stuff. It was funny because I didn't tell her I ordered the sports bra and the boob. So when it just came home, she was the one that opened the box. She was like, what in the hell is going on right now? And I was like, videos, I gotta do it for the gram.
It's
Yeah,
like,
so that
is
was
that in the budget? Is that in the
yeah,
budget? I don't
yeah,
know.
exactly. Exactly. So but I think somebody even commented, they're like, did you have those boobs before, or did you order them for the video? And I was like, no comment. I don't want to give away my secrets.
So this thing has evolved into where you're like actually putting money into it, as far as like ordering
Yeah.
props
Oh
and
yeah, of course,
really
dude.
starting to, it would, and see, I really dig your video. The video part it's actually getting funnier as it goes along, like
Okay,
more
cool. Yeah.
entertaining, I guess I should say. That would
Yeah.
be proper. But
Uh-huh.
um the videos, the creativity, that stuff's really cool. You could
Awesome.
even see it evolving into like this little almost Instagram skit show.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. I love, and I would do more of it, but I always want to make sure like the quality is really good. And I'm always hesitant to like, cause there's been a couple videos I made where I'm just like, I think the plot or like the story is funny, but the execution was not done well. So I just want to post it, And so, yeah, like I said, like I was saying earlier, I love more of that skit type little video clips of things. I think that's what I'm more passionate, more inclined to to produce and make.
Well, so, and with that, as far as
Mhm.
like, do you have somebody helping you videotape?
Yes, sometimes like not necessarily the videotaping part, but there is a couple guys that I know, they're buddies of mine that have, like, that's what they do. They edit videos, they film video, like they have a production team, or like that's what they do for work, make commercials and things like that. And so I'll hit them up every now and then to be like, hey, I got like this 30-second video, but can you make it look better and edit better and do certain stuff? So they're the ones that edit the Ricky Garard, like how it looks like kind of seamless, you know, like it's all perfect. Yeah, I don't know how to do that crap. And so yeah, they'll help me out sometimes, and I'll do stuff for them sometimes if they need like, you know, if they need like a background actor or something for one of their skits. So we kind of exchange services doing that every now and then. But yeah, some of the videos, I think just a handful of videos they help me on. Sometimes it's just me with a freaking tripod and on my iPhone, man, just making just making silliness.
Isn't that editing stuff so, it's crazy how tedious and difficult it is.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes I'm like, did you see that Dave Castro one that I did? The one
Yes.
where, yeah, dude,
Yes.
yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. Like that thing, what was it, like 30 seconds or something? It probably that all when it's all said and done, it took like 4 hours to do everything, like the filming and the editing and like all that stuff. Yeah, it took forever. Just like, so then we put all that time in. It's like, you guys better freaking at least give me a like. You don't have to like, you don't have to love it, but just give me a like on my video.
That's another thing. You came out with that right in the middle of all this heat, like the emotional whirlwind that was
Yeah,
CrossFit for like
right.
a week. And now
Uh-huh.
it seems to be like, okay,
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah. Well, you know, I try to just put a happy spin on stuff, and so, you know, all the news around that time was just, you know, well, you know what it was, just all this kind of poo-poo stuff on it, and you know, I was just trying to think, what's a way to like be, you know, be on topic or be on the, you know, on the what's the word I'm looking for, like popular. It's not the right word. What's it called? Like the news of the day. That's the top of the news. I don't, man, I'm like lost in words right
oh,
now.
oh crap. I like,
Relevance,
yes.
relevant, whatever. Yeah, relevant, I guess, is a good word just for the sake of this discussion. Yeah, just relevant, newsworthy stuff. And so and how to put a funny spin on it. Just not really, there's no controversy, you know, really. I mean, I don't think there's around that video. So try to like avoid the controversy, stay on relevant topics, and then like try to make something funny on top of it. So yeah, so yeah, I thought that turned out well, and I'm glad I got the good feedback that it did.
Oh
Because you
yeah.
can't
I
forget, man.
mean,
You gotta laugh, man. You gotta find the happiness and be optimistic about stuff. That's what I'm all about, man. Staying optimistic about things, even when things seem dark sometimes.
that's the best. That's what I say the best medicine is.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
laughing at the bad stuff, the
Uh-huh.
weird, bad, crazy. Like if you can find the humor in it, you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
find
yeah.
your way out of it.
There you go. Yeah. Because it's easy, man. That during that time, it didn't take, it wasn't hard to find any kind of negative news. That's the easiest stuff to find. Super easy to find. So trying to generate some, you know, some happy or some positive content is what I'm all about.
It also wasn't like it was making fun of the whole situation,
Uh huh.
like, but not the situation,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. Like you
Yeah.
went, instead of going like what the emails were about, what the
Yeah.
comment was about,
Uh huh.
everybody's all up in arms. Let's do one about giving Dave Castro the job and what it's like behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, which is good. You know, that's cool. You never know. Hopefully that's how it went too. I don't know. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I
Good
mean,
stuff.
I laugh, and I know a lot of like. Do you ever get people coming up to you like? Do you ever go to the CrossFit Games? Do you ever
Uh,
get people coming up to you, be like, "Dude, it's a fluffy duck guy"?
yeah. Yes, a little bit. I've actually never been to the games. I've never been to the CrossFit Games, but I have been to the regionals here in. So I live in California, so the ones at Del Mar, kind of next to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to those like five or six times. And so every now and then there's people that come up and like recognize me and say some stuff. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. But I got a freaking I had a somebody came up to me and they said, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, sweet." And they handed me their phone and they wanted a picture with Brooke Ince's friend, the lady that she always does a podcast with. So they wanted me to take the picture. And I felt like a schmuck. So I was already like getting my pose already, like wrapping my arm around her and stuff. She's like, "I don't even know who you are. Get off of me." Like, what are you doing?
Oh,
So that was kind of,
oh,
yeah,
that's,
that was kind of hilarious. So, but yeah, nothing too crazy. You know, sometimes when I drop in out of town at certain gyms, um, it's funny too, because I'd say majority, the handful of times I can think of where people said to me, they always wait to the very end of the class when I'm like leaving, and they'll come up and be like, "Hey, I like your page," or like, "Hey, I really love what you're doing." I'm like, "Oh, cool, man!" Like, well, you should have said something earlier. I had no idea that you know like who I am or like or what I my page exists or whatever. So that's cool. I mean, I love that. I think that's awesome that kind of fans or whatever. I think that's rad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be like really like putting myself in that position. It would be really
Yeah.
awkward to just make memes, laugh at myself, and like it's an internet life. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
internet life. Then you have real life. You know that you're
Yeah, yeah,
going and
yeah,
doing, and you're
yeah.
working out, and that you're with your friends. And then all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden, somebody comes up and notices you're so like,
Yeah,
because you have a big following on social media. Everybody talks about your page.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm in Texas, like the center of Texas, and
Hmm.
they're like, dude, that guy's roasting Castro. He's roasting this guy. He's tearing him up. Did you see this? And and I mean, they pass the memes. And we follow
Yeah,
your page. We
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
follow your page.
That's awesome.
They send it to each other. Like
That's
you're
awesome.
just sending it to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. No, it's pretty surreal because you get messages, people from like all across the world and stuff are sending messages, and then like it's even more crazy when I see like these places that are ordering like my shirts and stuff, and they want like they're paying for like the crazy amount of shipping and stuff, and I'm like, holy moly! Like I'm really like flattered. Like I'm just kind of it's a little surreal feeling, sometimes to experience that, but it's like yeah, super grateful, for all that stuff. I love bringing, like I was saying earlier, bringing people happiness and joy, and then people loving it, and just like a good vibe and off the community. That's like, man, that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. So I love it.
What made like when did you take the step to buy shirts and sell? Like you're making memes. And you're like, I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
sell shirts under this thing.
I think it's the same. I think I had the same thought process. It's like I see funny shirts, and I'm like, I think I can make funny shirts. I think I can make those. And so the first one I ever made was the Fitter Than Castro shirt. And when I made it right when I went to one of the regionals, and I saw him there, and I gave him one, and I tried to get him to take a picture of it, and the picture didn't come out very good, but he was cool enough. He was a totally cool dude, and so he got a kick out of it. He was holding it up and like showing people in the stands and stuff. And I don't know if he like posted or something. I don't know what I never saw anything come across that he posted, but after I gave it to him, man, there's like tons of orders coming in for that shirt. And so I was like, okay, sweet. So that was pretty successful. And then so I made like the Tyson one, the Tyson CrossFit one. That one sells like crazy, man. I sell that one all the time. And so yeah, I just kind of kept going. I kept trying to think of some more stuff. And do you know the Chive? The Chive?
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
love the Chive. So they have awesome, hilarious shirts. And so sometimes I'll scroll through their stuff to try to get like inspiration for ideas and things like that. And so yeah, I just kind of like almost like this page just kind of evolved. It's like, hey, I just want to see what it's like to see if I can make some shirts and people start buying them. So if people are buying them, so to keep making them. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about.
Do you spend a lot of time thinking about new ideas for shirts, like what you've already got and progressing it? Do you run like limited batches? Because it looks like you run like a limited batch on the Tyson shirt, and then it like goes away. So kind of like the Noble theory, where when they run out, they run out.
Yeah, I kind of just adapted that philosophy only because it was like turning into like another job where I had to like because I have it on Etsy, I have it on my website, and then I had it on, was it Poshmark? Is that one? Is that like a there's like a social, I think it's called Poshmark. It's like a social media um it's a social media kind of clothing app. It's kind of hard where you can like see a picture and you can comment on it. So it's like a feed. Oh, are you familiar with that? You familiar with Poshmark?
I've seen commercials for
Oh, okay.
Poshmark.
Yeah. And so I had on there. So anyways, the reason why I've kind of was like adapted that new philosophy of like, I should just, order some once they're gone, is because it was taking a lot of my time trying to like find where all these orders are coming from. And then I had to like, I do all the packaging up myself and go down and go down to the shipping thing, make it. So it's like, it turns into like a whole big thing when you have like, cause there's been, and it's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining, but there's been a couple times where I have like 200 shirts to pack up. And I'm like, dear God, this is like, and so I'm packing up shirts for like literally like sometimes 6, 7, 8 hours. I'm just like, I'm so done packing up shirts, dude. And so again, I'm just trying to figure out a way to be more efficient and find balance, trying to find balance in my life. So I feel like, I think it'd be easier to, and Craig Ritchie, I think does this too with his stuff. Like you just come out with a big batch, and then once it's out, then it's out. And then you just got to, it kind of hang tight for the next release of shirts. So yeah, I just started doing that. I just kind of like put a limit on my shirts, because if somebody order them, and then I just place another order as they came along. I just kept ordering and trying
It
to keep
almost, I
inventory
think it
full.
almost makes them more, I mean, you're the marketing guy, but it almost makes it more coveted whenever you do
Yeah.
that. I dig the idea. Like you're like, hey, there's only a certain amount of these. You better get them while you can. And
Yeah, that's what
bam,
I
you
was thinking
sell them.
too. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. At least that's what I hope. I hope it kind of translates like that. The people are like, oh, I want to hurry and get them because I don't want them to go out, kind of thing. So, yeah, that's gonna be the idea. And moving forward, I think that's the approach I'm gonna take to them.
Well, really you're an artist. So you're creating something.
Uh-huh.
As silly as it sounds, is like
Yeah,
you're an artist. You're creating
yeah,
something out of nothing that people want to put on them or whatever. They
hmm,
want to go to your page.
right.
So it's kind of like if you have, I would imagine it's like a painting.
Yeah,
If you had, 10,000 paintings,
right,
it's
right.
not worth as much as it is
Yeah,
when you have 1,000 paintings.
true, true. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, I will say I'm an artist from now on. Yeah, that's good, dude. That's good. I like it. I like your
Yeah.
style. That's good stuff.
So what?
You say you live in Texas?
Yeah.
So have you been to Chase Ingram's gym?
My wife has.
Okay, cool. I freaking love that dude. I've never met him, but man, we talk all the time on Instagram. That guy seems like such a good dude.
Yeah, I've never actually met him in
Hmm.
person. I have done some competitions where like his team, where we go against, like gone against his
Oh, okay.
teams or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He's
Uh-huh.
worked out. And he like the way he acts around those athletes at the gym and all of his
Yeah.
teams and everything. It's really like that's impressive.
Oh,
Like
good.
because he just like truly cares about what's going on and what they're doing and all this
Love
good
it.
stuff. So that's really fun to watch. That's about the extent I know of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I was just curious. Isn't his name? What's the name of his gym? I'm trying to give him a plug. It's Big D,
Uh,
right? Isn't
I
it
want to
Big
say
D
it's
or
Big
something?
D,
Yeah,
CrossFit
yeah,
Big
yeah.
D.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know he's.
Yep.
I also trying to give him a shout out because I want him to be the Texas rep for the affiliate. Do you see that thing going around on CrossFit?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to campaign for Chase Egro to be the Texas rep. That's
I
my
would
guy.
imagine. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine he would get it because he's been involved with CrossFit
Yeah.
and the announcing and like
Uh-huh.
he's been involved since the early
Oh
days.
yeah, man. Freaking Captain America, dude.
Captain America.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. How long you been doing CrossFit? Look like I'm interviewing you now.
No, yeah, yeah. He flipped it around.
Yeah, I did.
Sneaky.
Huh?
I have been doing CrossFit for about 5 years now. I
Oh,
guess.
nice, dude. Okay,
Yeah,
right on.
5 years.
Nice,
Yeah, I
nice,
never
nice.
worked out before that at all. Just
Oh no.
athletics.
Yeah.
I was a big rollerblader
Hmm. Oh, dope.
back in the 90s when it was like
Hell yeah.
really going strong. I still rollerblade, so there's that.
Badass.
Um,
Badass.
yeah, I love it.
That's
No
dope.
matter how many times I get made fun of, I still love it.
I don't even know. I don't even know why it gets made fun of. Like it's so weird. It's so weird how things turn into like a joke. Like Nickelback. Like what happened with that? I don't understand. Why are they a joke all of a sudden? It's like they didn't do anything different than when they became popular, or like Smash Mouth. It's like I don't I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I
I
don't
don't get
know.
it.
Like you
Weird.
think about it, Nickelback doesn't sound bad.
No, I mean I don't think they do either. And I feel like their music has stayed the same, and now it's like all of a sudden they're like a punchline. I just find it fascinating.
I
Same with
sing their songs.
rollerblading. Yeah, dude, I'll
I
sing the
sing their
crap
songs.
out of their songs.
I still make fun of them. Like I sing their songs.
Oh, you
Like,
can
hey,
do
that's a
both.
pretty good song. I still make a joke about them.
You can do both. It's okay. Both is allowed. Yeah, just like rollerblading, dude. I'll probably make fun of him, and I'll rollerblade the hell out of somebody, dude. I like rollerblading. Dope, dude. I'll rollerblade like a mother heifer. I used to rollerblade all the time, man. I love it. It's
That's
good stuff.
awesome.
Hell
That's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, Big Wheel, like they've got all sorts of stuff coming back in on it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
and
honestly,
I've got
I have not rollerbladed, and no joke, probably like 10 years. But I would rollerblade right now. I really would, promise.
that's awesome. Yeah. So I mean, I got that's kind of my extent of fitness. Like
Nice.
what I didn't like regular gyms. I didn't like any of that stuff. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I got so the similarities between like the action sports type of world,
Hmm.
you know, and CrossFit, they're
Yeah.
very similar in that like everybody kind of has this crazy bond. And that's one thing I talked about like this. The one thing that makes the name CrossFit relevant because nothing else does. It's just a brand. It's just a
Yeah.
deal. Is that
Right.
whatever town I go to, if it has CrossFit in the name,
Hmm.
I know I can go there and I know I'm going to be around like-minded people and I
Yeah,
know
of
what gym
course.
I'm going to get into.
Of course. Right, right, right. That's the probably one of the one of the reasons why these gyms pay the affiliate fees, just probably exactly for that reason right there. And I mean, in the same way, I'm glad that they do because it's easy. And you just like, okay, I want that kind of workout. I don't want to do a whole bunch of research. I just want to Google CrossFit, and then there you go. That's all I want. That's all I want to know. And so,
Yeah.
same thing, dude.
I mean, you don't want to be like, hey, I want to go to a CrossFit style gym. And then you go to this thing that's
Yeah.
called like, San Diego Functional Fitness. And you
Right.
go
Right.
in
Right.
there and they've got, a bunch of bands and they start doing box
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
ups
Yeah.
and they've got a spin class.
Right. 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 Yeah. No, exactly. You're exactly right. Yep. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So that's one thing that, I mean, I'm like, CrossFit the name. It makes sense
Yeah,
to
dude.
have
It
something
does.
that's
Yeah.
all branded,
Right. Right.
But
Right. Yep.
that's
Yep.
that's the reason I joined. I didn't join for anything else. Like
Mhm.
I mean, I could give two hoots who Glassman's is. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
he
yeah, and I think most people feel that way too. Like, there's, it's kind of almost ironic that he's like the face for the company because it doesn't really carry over. Really, I'm sure there's probably tons of people. I mean, before a couple of weeks ago, didn't even know who the guy was. That are going to CrossFit gyms. I always felt like Dave Castro was far more of a face of the sport or the company than Glassman was.
Dude, I've loved Dave Cast, and people like to hate on him. I have
Oh
loved
yeah.
his style since
Oh man.
he's so smart. He's
Oh,
so smart.
he's like, I would say he's, especially people, I think he's almost underrated for how smart he is. He's very smart dude. Yeah. I've only met, I mean, I've talked to him maybe once or twice and very friendly every single time, like super nice guy. And people that I've like interviewed, I guess you could say, that are CrossFit athletes always have nothing but nice things to say about him every time. So yeah, I think he's a good dude. I've never really heard anything, bad about him. Any kind of bad reputation he has, it's almost like, people are kind of like making fun of him a little bit, but I don't think he necessarily does anything bad per se.
Do you ever get backlash from anybody at CrossFit HQ for the jokes that you make?
No, not, no. The only thing that I've ever got from them was, so when I first started the page, I called it, before Fluffy Duck, I called it CrossFit Cinderella, for a number of reasons. I just liked the name of it. And I thought it was just, I don't know, I just like, there's a lot of things I liked about it. But when I started making the page, and it was kind of getting a little bit of a growth. I think I had about 5,000 followers or something. They messaged me and they said, hey, if you want to use the name CrossFit, you got to pay the affiliate fees. They wanted like $3,000, and I was like, well, I only got 5,000 followers, and I'm just like kind of spanking around on this Instagram page. I'm not about to shell out $3,000. And so that's when I changed the name, named it Fluffy Duck. And so that's the only time I ever heard from them. No, they've never said anything about, my posts.
Where did
Back in the,
Fluffy Duck come from?
oh, so Fluffy, so I picked it because, for one, I like the way it sounds. I just think it's funny sounding, but the meaning behind it is, if you're having a good day and everything's going well and like it's a happy-go-lucky day, the saying is you're having a box of fluffy ducks. It's like an old-timey saying kind of thing. And so when I found that out, I was like, oh, I love that. I love that that's the meaning of it. And then plus just fluffy duck. I just thought it sounded funny because, a lot of CrossFit gyms they seem like aggressive, like Mayhem and Invictus and all these kind of aggressive type, like, it's like, geez, what kind of workout can you get in this place? And so I'm not about that. I like to think of myself as kind of like a goofball guy. So I'm like, Fluffy Duck just sounds silly. People are always like, it's almost hard to say it without at least smiling a little bit. It's hard to say Fluffy Duck without leaving a little grin. So yeah, that's why I liked it. That's why I picked the name, for all those reasons.
I think that's why the humor resonates so much, is because you go to CrossFit competitions, you've ever been to one, or you walk into a CrossFit gym, you've got the competitive person and they're there just like rip, like their face is going nuts and they
Exactly.
don't care about the standards. They don't
Uh-huh.
care about what's going on. They're just trying to
Right.
rip through this thing and beat somebody, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
they're aggressive. And then they're
Uh-huh.
just like, talking CrossFit, CrossFit, CrossFit all day long,
Yeah.
which I don't do actually on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
unless you
don't
do
either.
CrossFit, I don't talk it with you.
Oh,
Like,
for
I
sure, dude. Yeah,
don't really
for
know,
sure. If
And
I try to talk to my friends that don't do it, they're like, "Oh, you're telling me names that I don't even know who these people." So I'm like, I'm not even gonna waste my time like explaining. So sometimes I have to say like, "Hey, babe, you know Matt Frazier?" And she's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "You know the guy that's won it a bunch of times?" She's like, "Rich Froning?" I'm all, "No, good. I'm proud of you to remember that guy's name." But I'm all, "No, Frazier, like this and this." I'm all, he's got the feed. I have to go this long freaking dialogue of like trying to. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I do know who he is now." And I'm like, forget it. I don't even care about the story anymore. But it's over. Moments passed. So yeah, to your point, yeah, I hardly ever talk about it really either, except for, my page or people that actually do it.
Isn't it
I'm not.
crazy? It is. It's kind of nuts that like when you're in that world of something where it's so niche and
Mhm,
everybody gravitates towards each other. Like if you do
mhm.
it, you're part of a team. No matter what, like you kind of all relate because you've all gone through
Yeah.
the suck of the
Mhm.
same
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah. Right, right,
And
right.
so you live in that bubble and all of a sudden that's your world. The CrossFit games are so big. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? To us, they're so big and there's
Right,
so
right.
many people there. It's
Uh-huh.
a tiny, tiny
Yeah.
percentage of
It's
anybody who knows
super tiny.
anything.
It's super tiny, dude. It's like, oh yeah, it's very, very, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Super niche. And yeah, if you're not in that world, dude, it's like, and the one time I actually spent any kind of significant time with Dave Castro, I asked him for like, hey, can I get a selfie? And he was like, yeah. And I'm all, I feel bad asking, dude, because you're probably getting pictures all the time. He's all, not really. He's like, the only time it happens is when I'm at these events. He's like, I go to the store every day. Nobody even knows who I am. I go out and about. He's all, nobody knows who I am. The only time people know who I am is about kind of my CrossFit events. I'm like, it's so crazy, man. It's so weird. And I wonder like how that is with like Matt Frazier or like Rich Froning. I wonder if they ever see or get recognized, or even like Tia, if they get recognized when they're out and about, because I mean they have a massive following, but I guess Castro does too. If you're if we're thinking about Instagram followers, and for yeah, to be that big and to like nobody even know who you even are when you're like outside of this little CrossFit world. It's kind of weird. Then you step in
I
this
would have
CrossFit world and it's like, oh my gosh, you're like overwhelmed and people are like losing their mind. It's funny.
That would be a cool question to ask, and I'm wagering that Tia gets more attention because
Mhm.
usually a fit woman gets more attention
Yeah.
drawn to her. Like when that catches your eye a little
Hmm.
bit more,
I
whether
think
it's
you're
a
right.
man or a woman. It's not
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
anything. It's just like, whoa, that's impressive. And then
Right, right,
you
right.
know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I agree. I think you're probably right. Yeah. Plus, she's been on the what did she do with her national like
the
lifting
weightlifting.
weightlifting. There you go. So she's kind of been on a bigger global stage. Sometimes maybe she might have a little more recognition. Be interesting to see or
Yeah,
ask her.
wasn't
Yeah,
the
like I said,
Olympics? Wasn't the
was it the
Olympics?
Olympic? Was it? See, I'm sure, probably right. I don't know. I don't know if it was the Olympics or not, but it might have been. I'm not sure.
We could be way wrong on our stats here.
Yeah, I'm sure when you post this, somebody will comment, be like, "Hey, jackasses, jabronis, you guys are no." Yeah,
You know what's funny? I'm looking forward to that day when somebody goes,
yeah.
"You suck." I'm like, "I'm Nate."
He's not doing it right. You gotta to be successful. You gotta have haters, man. You gotta have haters. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like I say sometimes the DMs get so aggressive sometimes. And usually I'm like 99.9% of the time I don't even respond to like any kind of hater stuff just because I'm not. For one, I don't want to put any more effort into taking time away and try to go back and forth because for one, the end result is never as good. There's never a good end result. And so I usually just let it go. But man, sometimes it's like, wow, geez Louise, very aggressive. You're very upset with my comedy. It's like, yeah, there's some hateful messages sometimes.
So
That's
you get a
another.
bunch of
Oh,
DMs.
dude. Oh my God. Yes. All the time, daily. Usually daily. Usually daily. Somebody's upset about something for sure, for sure. And then
Dude,
any kind of controversial one, if they even come close to getting near that area, oh my gosh, it'll be a lot. It'll just be my full inbox. Will just be like, boom. That's another thing John and I do sometimes. We're like, dude, look at this message. Look at this message. I'm like, holy crap, dude. Freaking people hate us. Oh, sorry, kiddo's awake now.
oh, that's okay. We got kiddos and dogs. I always say dogs make like the most random appearances all the time on the show.
Oh, nice, good. We got a little background noise.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, I mean, if you got to go, man, we can just end it right here if you
Oh, I could
want.
I could chat. I could chat a little bit more. She's up with her mom. So yeah, as long as the sound is okay for you, I can chat a few more minutes.
Oh no, it's good. It's good.
Cool, man. Yeah.
I so through this quarantine thing,
Hmm.
like you started this. You're in California,
Yeah.
Texas, way cooler about
Hmm.
quarantine.
Hmm.
We're just living life, you
Yeah.
know.
Nice.
We did lock down for a little while, and then
Yeah.
everybody's like, you know what? No, and
Oh.
then we're gonna do our thing.
Yeah.
Um, but you're out there in a different situation from what I hear. I haven't
Yeah.
been there.
Uh-huh.
and you started this page a long time ago. So has that transition into this kind of like, oh man, I'm not in such a bad spot because I can just keep making memes and keep doing my
Oh, I see
thing
what
and I
you're saying.
have
Oh, I got
stuff
you.
going
Yeah,
on?
yeah. So you mean like I haven't really been like affected by it? Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, if anything, it almost gives you, it almost gives you more content to work with. You know, especially at the beginning when people are trying to work out at home and trying to figure out ways to stay fit without using the gym and stuff. So that's just all more, just more possible content to work with. So yeah, it hasn't really affected me at all. If anything, it kind of helped. Like I say, it kind of helps a little bit with the creative side of coming up with new ways to make memes and stuff.
That's the thing. That seems to be the thing about comedy. But the thing about your page is almost the more train wrecks that happen, the better your page is going to get.
Of course, man. I mean, I absolutely love fails so much, dude. When there's like a few years ago, do you know the YouTube page Fail Army? Probably, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Did I discover that thing like 3 or 4 years ago? And I like lost literally hours of my day in the morning. I'm just busting up because it's like some of my favorite stuff is just people falling and getting hurt. You know, like I don't want people to get injured or whatever, but if it's gonna happen, I hope you get it on film because I want to see it happen. Like I don't wish for it to happen, but I want to see it if it's gonna happen. And so yeah, when fails, dude, man, I love them so much. They're so good. So it's the best when people just send me a bunch of them saying like, "Hey, here's my friend," or "Here's such and such doing this." So I'm like, "Oh, dude, keep them coming. I freaking love them."
People just message you the videos of their
Oh
fails, like,
yeah.
"Hey, check this
Oh
out."
yeah. It's glorious, man. Like I think a lot of people know that like I really thrive off loving that kind of content. So they'll just be like, "Hey, here's tons of like surveillance footage from like their gyms and stuff. Like, hey, watch this guy in the top corner right here, just like totally biff it." And so I'm like, "Oh, dude, yes, that's the greatest. That is the greatest." Yeah, so good. I usually try to share as many. There's sometimes when, because I'll usually ask, "Hey, is it okay to share?" And some people say like, "No," because they weren't. They're not even happy that I sent this to you. And I was like, "Oh, that's okay. At least you sent it to me. I got some enjoyment off it." But I'd say again, like 99% of people say, like, "Yeah, dude, please share it, please post it, or whatever." I'm like, all right, I'm all about that.
I'm more so I videotape my roll brain tricks. For me, I
Yeah.
love like to watch them and then see them like,
Uh,
oh look, it's almost like the old days, but not quite.
right.
Um, but then whenever my daughter's videotaping because she wants to learn how to like skate video and
Yeah.
follow,
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
I'll take a really bad fall, like a really bad fall, and I'll get up and
uh,
go, "Did you get that?" You're like, "No, I erased it." I'm like,
oh, damn
"What'd you
it.
do that for? That's
Damn
my
it.
favorite part, dude."
Yeah, exactly. I hate when people are like, videotaping, and as soon as like the person like lands, like you tell like they're surprised, so the camera goes all over. I'm like, dude, stay on point, man. I need to see what happens here. Yeah,
I
yeah,
need
dude, it's
you
good stuff.
focused. But I
Yeah,
love fails. Like you would fast forward like the whole group of guys I was with, and anybody who
uh,
watches them, you fast
yeah.
forward to the fail part because
Oh, always.
that's the fun. It's the
It's
fun
the best.
one.
It's the best, man. I love it so much. Yeah,
They're like, "Oh,
it's
that's
good stuff.
impressive," but did you see that?
Yeah, that's what everybody loves to see. Yeah, I love them, dude. I love fails. Yeah, for sure. They're the best.
Wasn't yours the? Didn't you just post one? Maybe it's not yours. The guy on the bar
Oh, doing like the
spinning around and
freaking
flipping.
double. Yeah, I just posted. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, dude, unreal, dude, unreal. I'm like, I had to watch it for a second. I'm like, okay, if this guy's dead, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to post this. Yeah, that guy. Oh my lord, I can. Yeah, watched it like 100 times, dude. Watched it a
Yeah,
hundred
I
times.
did too. I just sat there with it on repeat, like, and laugh every time. Like, oh,
Unbelievable.
oh,
So hard. So hard. I think he was trying to land like 5 flips before he hit the ground. Yeah, that
on a
was,
metal
yeah.
bar.
Dude. Holy crap, man. Yeah, that was a good one, dude. That was a good one.
Yeah, you talking about losing hours. You know, kook slams,
Oh, yes, of course.
dude.
Greatness.
Me and the kids
Greatness.
we all love it. And I'll spend like wife will go to bed and we're sitting there just like scrolling
Yeah,
through the next one, the next
it's the
one, the next.
greatest.
Find a rope swing one. Find a rope swing one.
Yep, that's great, dude. Yeah, I'm trying to get my little kiddo. She's 2.5, and so I'll put on Fail Army on the YouTube. She'll start busting up because she sees me busting up. So it's like I'm already training her to go down that road to find the humor in everyone's pain and suffering.
That's nice. Well, man,
Good stuff.
this has been. I've had a blast.
Good
This
stuff,
is
man. Me too.
awesome, dude.
Likewise, man.
Uh, I mean, like everybody should know Fluffy Duck on Instagram. I mean, you shouldn't really. You said you had a website though too, right?
Yeah, fluffyduckshop.com is where all my swag all my swags on. So yeah, feel free to give that a gander for
And
sure.
then be looking for the Instagram TV skit shows
Yep,
coming
love doing
soon.
that. Yep, good stuff, man. Good
Awesome.
stuff.
Was there
Thanks,
anything you
dude.
want to add
Thanks,
in
man.
before
No,
we
dude.
close
No,
it?
man. This is perfect. No, I appreciate all the plugs, man. Vote for Chase Ingram for your Texas representative. I'm like on a huge push for this guy right now.
What? Okay, I have to ask, why so much for Chase in
I
Texas if you
freaking
live in
love him.
California?
I know. Well, because I love Chase Ingram. He's such a cool dude, and so I just saw that he's wanting to be the representative for Texas, and I'm like, dude, let me know what I can do for you. He's super humble too. And he's all, well, if you don't mind, you want to make like a quick little Instagram story or something, that'd be really appreciated. And I'm like, dude, hell yeah. And then I'm going on a podcast. I'm gonna tell about you too, man. And he's like, oh man, okay, well, geez, you don't do all that for me, but I love it if you're doing it. Like, so humble and everything. So the more humble, the more kind he is. This makes me want to go even more above and beyond.
That's
So yeah,
awesome. Well,
yeah, dude.
maybe he'll listen to this podcast and
There you
see that
go.
we plugged him.
There
You're
you go.
voting for him for Texas.
Heck to the yes. Heck to
All
the
right.
yes. All right, man.
Anybody
Thanks,
for
dude.
California?
Jason Khalifa, maybe. I don't know. I don't know who's from.
I don't care about anybody else. Just chasing him for Texas.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know who. I don't even know who wants it in California. I feel like that's gonna be a big one, dude. I feel like there's gonna be a ton of people going for that.
Oh, that is so awesome. That makes it right there. Like
Perfect,
you're
dude.
like an honorary Texan just for that.
Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing this, Josh. I appreciate it,
cool,
man.
buddy. Absolutely, man. Good stuff. Thanks for having me, dude. Really
You
appreciate
bet.
it. Awesome, man.